Okay folks, this is Ruckus Bringer with a safety of flight issue that I found in the T-tail on this glider. This is the Lanyu ASW28. I did maiden it today 3 times on one battery. It's a 1300 milliamp battery. I flew a total of 18 minutes. You know, I had 3 flights. I landed and adjusted my center of gravity and everything. But I was actually modding it with the wings. You'll see that video too. If you probably already saw it, because I'm posting that one first. So, as I was modding this, you know, I was making the flaperons instead of just having single flaps and single ailerons. I wanted the whole wing. I noticed when I had this tail propped up against the wall here, when I was doing this, and I also noticed that when this was on, okay, and it was bolted in. I'm not gonna bolt it in now, but it's pretty secure. This, you know, it's got these little nubs here and everything, right? So that's cool, and these screws are pretty good. And if I can get in there now, okay, you know, pretty good. It's pretty solid, right? I mean, it moves a little bit down here, which I'm gonna look into that as well. Why I'm trying to get as less flex out of it as I can, which I just noticed that might be an issue too. Anyways, but this, when this servo was moving, this tail was kind of flexing, like unusually too much. I was like, what's going on here? So I toned down my elevator. I thought maybe it was that, and it still was moving. So I pulled it apart, and lo and behold, look at this. This is barely glued on here, if at all. I mean, look at this. It's just, it might be glued a little bit in the front, but look at how much movement that is. That is just, I'm ashamed to say that I did. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There is, you guys are seeing this live. There is like no glue on this. There's a little bit in the front here, on the side. Okay, and but look at that foam is like almost perfectly clean. So I just was shocked. I was like, dude, if that thing fell off in flight, you know, it worked its way loose, the airplane's gone. And if you're above someone's house or near someone's house, I should say, you shouldn't be flying above someone's house, but if you're near someone's house and this thing lets go, it's gonna crash. There's no stopping it. So, you know, these are a good idea. These plastic pieces here. And they're probably, and I think they're glued in there pretty decently. But even if there was no glue on these, it wouldn't matter, because you have the screws sandwiching in between the plastic piece here, like that. No problem. That's gonna, you know, who cares? But this piece that mounts to the foam, which I was just shocked. I couldn't believe that it was that flimsy and loose, and obviously you can see there's no glue in the back. Barely any in the front. So I'm going to fix that. It's an easy fix. But please, please, guys, check that. I know you shouldn't have to check certain things. We're all excited. You know, I'm an aircraft mechanic by trade, and you know, at work we have to check certain things. And when you get these aircraft, you don't really realize how dangerous they are until they crash into something. They could hurt somebody pretty bad. So I'm guilty of it too. I should have checked. And now that these foam planes are coming out and they're pre-built, we expect them to be good. Where the olden days we built these things ourselves, and we could, you know, we would trust our own work and say, okay, and if there was a flaw in the kit, we would say, okay, put out a bulletin or something to let them know. But this, I can't believe this. I think they've used more glue on the servos when I was removing them from the wing than they used. They should paint this a different color or something for the workers to say, hey, you know, pay attention to this, glue this extra good, or make sure it's good, or have somebody QA check it or something, because that is just crazy. I mean, that is, boom, you're gone. I mean, these, because it doesn't, actually, there's nothing into the foam, which there probably should be, but this whole piece, these 2 pieces here is where the actual structure screws into it. And if your servo moves this whole tail back and forth, that's what I was doing with mine. it was moving this tail like this as the servo was going. I was like, why is it moving so much? You know, as the elevator was coming up, it was tweaking this like this. So I'm like, okay, and that's what led me to look at, you know, the structure. And as I started lifting, I could see this separation in the back. So when I took it apart, I'm like, and you saw me take it apart. There's no glue, hardly at all. So anyways, I just thought I'd let you guys know. Inspect your stuff. I mean, inspect your wing spars, everything. But your tail, especially this design, this T-tail. And I'm actually, now that we mentioned it, I'm going to look at this tail down here and make sure that's glued too, because that if that goes, you lose rudder and elevator. So that's probably even more important than this. But they're both important. But just heat it. Yeah, look at that. It's loose. I gotta check that out. I'll let you guys know on the comments of this video. I won't show it, but I'll let you guys know if it was the same scenario. Alright, Ruckus, bring it out, and safe flying and safe inspecting. Inspect all your stuff before you put it together. And I can't stress that enough. The plane flew great, but and I even did a tight loop with it. But had I not checked this, it would have worked its way loose eventually, and down she goes. And all right, thanks. Bye.